Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast, the only podcast you didn't know you needed. I'm looking at my friends here, Josh, Brent, and a special guest, and I say to them, we'll walk you through the danger, we'll take you for a ride, still you see it through. We'll knock them dead for you. Yeah. Who's going to save you this time? Welcome to the Night Machine. Say hello, Josh.
Why you got to be so snooty?
Don't put on that English accent. It doesn't work for you.
Who's that talking over there?
If you can't do it proper, Josh, don't do it at all.
Well, it's proper down here, but when it comes out and it hits a full set of teeth, it comes out funny.
The last time I saw you, you told me I sounded Irish.
Well, that was just to piss you off.
And that it did.
It did.
I was witness to that. Say hello, Mark Greenaway, all the way from England. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well, gentlemen. Very well. I'm very honored to join you on what is your 100th episode. Congratulations.
Nice choice of hats there.
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, very nice.
Brentry, what are you up to, buddy?
I'm just watching our boys suck up over there in England. Wiping the spunk off the screen.
Oh, steady. Careful, Cincinnati. Let's not get out of control.
Hey, Merry New Year to all you guys and everybody listening. How you all doing?
I'm good, man. Good. Ready to do this. I can't believe we're here. Josh, Mark mentioned it. What number are we on? Where are we today?
I'm actually not, very happy about this, but this is going to be episode 100. And the reason why I'm not happy about it is I lose one character space in my YouTube title screen. So I got 100, characters I can use, and I usually use every single one. Now I got to add an extra digit, and that's all I can think about. But yeah, 100 episodes. 100 episodes of talking about Night Ranger. That's a feat in itself.
Yeah.
We had a few ideas of what to do for the 100th episode, and I was making some arrangements to have some special guests back on the episode, and just with the holidays and the schedules, it would just take too long to get enough people to make an episode. So today we were talking about recording, and we had talked about having Mark on, and I was like, you know what, let's just do Mark for the 100th episode. It's a good celebration of what we have, I don't know, accomplished, or whatever word you want to use, from episode 1 to now. And it's we starting this with a few hundred people on the page, to now we're able to, Mark is able to fly over from England and go to Night Ranger shows, and we have the capability to help him meet, this band he's been
what you guys done is amazing. You brought together so many people with one love for that band. What you three have achieved is incredible, I think.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, that's a good 100th episode, because, for Mark, we've got so many other people we've helped and met at all these shows. So, and for those who aren't on the Facebook page, Mark is from Old Blighty, and if you know anything about Night Ranger, they don't really play much in England or overseas in Europe at all.
They've done us four times.
We'll let Mark tell those stories here in a bit. But Mark flew over from England and went to the Danny Repepe Orchestra show, Night Ranger with the Contemporary Youth Orchestra, and then over to Nashville, Indiana. and that's where he'll eventually tell you where he got to meet a few members of the band. So, Mark, welcome to the podcast, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and Night Ranger and 80s rock in general. During the 80s, who did you see a lot over there, and who did you not?
Night Ranger has always been the love of my life. I caught Sentimental Street on a BBC Two show in 1985, and it just blew me away. And I biked into my nearby town the next day, bought 7 Wishes, and I've been a fan since '85. But I thought it was just me. They never troubled the charts here. They weren't hugely popular, and yet they were my band. And then I've always thought it was just me. And then 2 years ago in lockdown, on my Facebook feed, it came up, recommended for you, Fans in Motion. Now, I'm not really a joiner of things like that, but I joined it, and it's completely changed my life, Fans in Motion. I chat to people now. I chat to you three. I chat to people all around the world, all because of Fans in Motion and all because we love this band. And yeah, it's been fantastic. And if it hadn't been for Fans in Motion, I would never have got to come over and done that week. Never.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. So for that, I thank the 3 of you, because it's all down to you guys. All down to you. And we had the best week, didn't we? We had the best week.
We had a great
I love your
time.
background, Brent. I like your background, Brent. That's really good.
Yeah, I do that for you.
Thanks, man. I like that.
So Mark, did you get to see Night Ranger in the 80s? During
they came here in '85 with Foreigner, but it was pretty much exactly the same time that I discovered them, and it was too late. I think it was June '85 they came over, and I was only 16, so I didn't get to see them. And it was 2011, because they came over to do the Swedish Rock Festival a couple of times, 2011, 2012. So I managed to get tickets for that. So 2011 was the first time I saw them, and it was amazing. I never thought I'd get to see them live. They just don't come to England, do they? They just don't. So that was incredible. I managed to get right. I queued outside for 4 hours. They played the O2 Academy in Islington, and queued outside for 4 hours. Got straight to the front, right in front of Brad. I had the best time. It absolutely blew me away. Eric Levy gave me a fist bump when they left the stage, and that made my night. I skipped home to the tube station that night. It was incredible. And then what are we talking about? 12 years? 12 years later, I never dreamt in my wildest dreams that I'd seen them in the States. I've always wanted to do that. They came again in 2012, and I must admit, I got a little bit pissed before I went in. So I don't remember a great. I got a little drunk before I went in. I don't remember much about the concert. And then I had tickets to see them in 2015, but I couldn't get there at the last minute. I couldn't get up to London. And then you guys did the podcast with Ed Repepi back in the summer. Do you remember? You had him on.
Yeah.
And he was talking about they were going to Sweden, but this time they weren't coming to London. And Ed was chatting to you guys, and you mentioned me, which had me skipping around my lounge. I love it when you do that. And Ed said, well, if you can get to Sweden this weekend, he's on the guest list. Well, I couldn't get to Sweden. But he said if he really wants to come, he should come over in November for the Danny Repepi concert. And things changed for me over here. I won't go into that. But I thought, to hell with it. So I bought a ticket and let you guys know. And the next thing I know, I'm on a plane coming over. Meeting Andy at Nashville International Airport, which took 2 hours.
Eventually, meeting.
Eventually, because I couldn't find you. And we just had the best time, didn't we? And then we went to see that Danny Repepi concert in that beautiful theatre in Cleveland was just epic.
Yeah.
It wasn't it? And it was just epic. But the best thing of all was the winking lizard. That was fantastic, wasn't it? That night in that bar.
Some alcohol was drank that night.
So let me ask you this. Mark. I want to go back a little bit. Did your interest in Night Ranger ever wane? Were you
No.
were you there
Never.
for, did you follow him through the Gary Moon years and like
All of it.
Neverland and Seven?
All of it.
All
I was
right.
an absolute die-hard fan from the moment I saw Sentimental Street. It just blew me away, and nothing else. I'm quite fond of Van Hagar, love a bit of Sammy, but Night Ranger has always been my band. I love the music. The only thing I don't like is I Did It for Love. That's the only one I don't like. I'm not a big fan of I Did It for Love, if I'm honest. Sorry, guys.
I don't know why the hate for
Yeah.
that song. It's not like it's my favorite, but I
could
could ramble. You could wake me up in the middle of the night and I could ramble off 10 other Night Ranger songs that are worse than that. So
Woman in Love probably comes in a close second, but those two, I'm not a big fan of those two.
Well,
but everything else,
you
I've
know,
been a rabid Night Ranger fan. Not quite as enthusiastic as you know, Josh, with your amazing collection.
any song that that has the same titles as beasts that you would find in a zoo, like Kong or Monkey, those generally creep to my thoughts way before I Did It for Love. So all right,
always been a massive fan. Everything I can get my hands on, everything. Yeah, everything.
How easy was it to get stuff, Mark?
No, not easy at all. Not easy at all. They had a few. I used to go into town and go into the local paper shop and get Metal Hammer and Kerrang, and I'd scour the pages for mentions of Night Ranger. Occasionally, I had a couple of magazine cutouts with a couple of interviews with them, but that was it. They didn't get a lot of coverage over here, to be honest. But every time that an album came out, I heard about it, I'd get it. I went to Amsterdam once because there's an amazing shop just off Dam Square called Fame Music where you could get all sorts. So I managed to get Neverland, the Japanese edition, and the American one. Yeah, whatever I could get my hands on. I've always been a massive Night Ranger fan. And as I told Jack backstage in Indiana, Jack, I used to wear, name dropper. I used to wear a bandana on the back of Seven Wishes. And I'm like 85, 86, I'm 17. I used to go to school with a red spotted bandana around my left ankle. And when I told him that backstage, he said, "Oh man, would you like one of these?" So he gave me one of his.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that, baby. Hey Mark, keep it rocking, Jack Blade.
Yeah.
Come on.
So he gave you that.
Yeah.
We'll have to touch base on what you gave him in return. So, all right. So the Danny Repepe Memorial Show, the second one with the Contemporary Youth Orchestra in Cleveland, that was November 9th, 8th, something like that. It was a Wednesday, Thursday? Shit, I don't remember.
It was a Wednesday.
Hey, hold that back up there, Mark. Hold that back up. There we go.
Can you see that?
Where is the date?
I've got my camera ring thing on. You can't
all right. Well, anyways.
What's the date on it, Mark?
The date is the 9th of the 11th, 2022.
All right. So November 9th. And so Night Rangers playing with the Contemporary Youth Orchestra. So the first time Night Rangers ever played with an orchestra. And to alleviate the pain that Marcus felt by Night Ranger never traveling to Old Blighty, he decides, well, I don't know if it was he, but maybe Andy, they decide to team up and fly his ass to Nashville, where Andy is based out of. So started off, Andrew,
it was all your idea, Andrew.
In passing, I'd said to Mark somewhere along the lines, if you ever want to come to the States, get to Nashville, you got a place to stay. In all honesty, I never thought he'd take me up on it. And I didn't mean it. I didn't want him to. I just didn't think he'd ever take me up on it. And like he said, things in his life changed over there. And I'm at work one day and he messages me. He's like, "Parker, look what I just bought." And he bought a ticket to the Repepe show. And I was like, wow, I gotta run this by my better half because I guess you're coming over.
Yeah. And then I got a message from Andy. He says, "Oh shit, The Brit is coming over here. No, I'm joking.
So I quickly run it by Teresa, and she's like, "Sure, we'll invite some stranger we've never met to stay at our house." And yeah, so Mark he buys a ticket, he comes over. We get lost at the airport for 2 hours, which was unbelievable. And
that was my fault. I should have got my phone sorted out.
Both of ours fault because I didn't know where the international flights came in. So then we quickly took him to Broadway so he could see all the glory of Nashville.
Oh, that was amazing.
The smells, the sights, the sounds. And then we plotted a trip. And I said to him, I said, if you're coming over for one show, Mark, they're playing 2 days later a rock show, not the symphony show. So you can see, you can do 2 shows while you're here. Stay for a week. You've got nowhere to be. And I'll get Brent to go, and we embarked on a 4-day. What was it, Mark? 4 days. 1,400 miles.
Yeah.
4 states.
And you were an absolute hero doing all the driving. Brent and I just took it easy. You did
multiple trips to McDonald's.
Oh, triple cheeseburgers in the morning. Oh my God, Brent Water, you're an absolute monster.
Dude, I had one last night. I almost sent you a picture of it.
And I gotta say, Josh, Mark brought it up earlier, and I too was a little overwhelmed when we walked into the Winking Lizard.
Yeah.
The crowd, the fans in motion representation there was really, you got there a little later, Josh, but I think the majority of the people were still there.
You guys picked me up.
Yeah, we picked him up.
Oh, I'm thinking.
Picked Josh up.
You're right.
I'm in the back of your car, and the first thing Josh Weaver does is offer me a beer.
I was thinking of the other night, Josh. I'm sorry. When
see, this is why I have his memories. I have his memories. I had to correct him a lot.
Yeah. So that was just overwhelming to me, and it's interesting. We don't. It's weird to go into a room and people start like hey Andy, how you doing? And I'm not sure who it is. And Mark was a freaking rock star that night, and him and certain members of the Fans in Motion page.
What about Orion? With all that
had a challenge amongst each other to drink as much fat tire as they could.
Orion Fairman is an absolute legend.
And, W. Orion.
W. Orion. You got a drink?
W. Orion.
You say his name. That was something.
Yeah, I remember walking in that.
To walk into the Winking Lizard as an Englishman who's wanted to do something like that his entire life, and then to see all these people, and they all wanted to talk to me, they all wanted to chat to me. There's Melissa, there's Kathy, there's Linda, there's all these people that I've seen on the page but never met before. And it was all because of Fans in Motion. It was a hell of a night that night. It was a great night. Night.
And for those who, maybe don't listen all the time or haven't followed every episode, the Winking Lizard is not a gay bar. The Winking Lizard is a chain of drinking establishments, kind of like BW3s, Roosters, stuff like that. So the night before the show, we had basically a big Fans in Motion get together. And we basically took over a whole side room. I would say there was probably at least 50 of us there, maybe.
It was
50, 60 at least.
Yeah, we had.
It was actually, it was actually like 42 people. Oh. I was counting all the heads in the picture one night because I thought there was about 60 as well. But in that picture, it's about 42.
Left. Some people may have left. You didn't count the person taking the photo, and you got to take into account it's Brent doing math. So I would say there probably was 50 or 60 people there. Now, and stop selling us short, damn it. It's all about the hype. So that's the Winking Lizard. We took over the jukebox.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
So, we're all there drinking, and you're hearing Chippinaway and Halfway to the Sun, and I'm sure the other half of the bar is like, what in the fuck?
What I love about that picture of the group is you've got about 6 people along the wall just looking at us. You know, they were the only ones that weren't there with us.
And let's not forget one of my favorite memories. We were the last people to leave, and as we walked out, they were playing Sister Christian. And for me, as an English guy who loved this band his entire life, who never thought in a million years he'd get to the States and meet all these amazing people, and then go and see not one but 2 gigs. As I walked out of the Winking Lizard, they were playing Sister Christian, and it was perfect.
Yeah,
perfect. It didn't get any better than that.
You were the last one out.
Yeah,
I remember walking in. I remember when we were walking in, and they had that glass that you could see the room. And Mark turns around and looks at us and says, "They're all here for you, mate." And I'm like, "Well, no, they're here for you, and they're here for themselves." You know.
We had a great
and it was everybody just.
Let's not forget
what
happened a little bit later on. Josh walks in with who?
Oh wait, that was the next night. That was the next night.
Yeah. Oh, that was the next night. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
There's all that fat time.
Boy, there were many drinks to be had.
So the good thing is, we all had some time to sleep it off that night, and the next day, the day of the show, there in Cleveland at the theater at the theater there, it was a hectic day. Obviously, we were going to try to get Mark to meet them as soon as possible. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Andy could get drunk and pass out and not wake up for a couple of days, and you miss the Indiana show. But there was a lot. It just wasn't your typical Night Ranger show. You had 21 cameras going there. You had all kinds of different rehearsals. The rehearsals kind of had to wait because the kids were still in school. The meeting the band was, off the table that show. But I did get to spend a little time with, I think it was Jack and Kelly, maybe Brad, back in the dressing room, and I got to tell them a lot of people were traveling to that show. I know James Gillen was, flying in from Florida. Nadelman was going to fly in from Florida, but unfortunately his dad had passed. Amy Johnson and her crew flying in from Minnesota. So we had all kinds of people coming in from the States. I didn't go into that much detail about the people coming from the States, just told them, hey, we got people coming from Florida, Minnesota. And then I said, we got a guy coming all the way from England. And that perked them up. Like I said, I know for sure Jack and Kelly were there. I cannot remember if Brad was still there or not when we got to this part of the conversation. But so I'm standing there. Jack and Kelly are standing. And Mark Greenaway is a good guy and coming over from England. And, they asked a couple questions, which I can't remember, but I remember answering stuff. And I remember, talking a little bit about England, how like they were never there, and you didn't get to see them till later in their career. And I remember them kind of talking about the Foreigner show, whatever that show was.
Yeah, 85, June 85.
Wembley or something like that. So they talked about it a little bit. And if I remember correctly, like Jack's like, yeah, bring him back. And then I think, other powers to be, I won't name names, nixed it for that night. And this was early too. No one was at the venue yet. So that night, I met up with you guys in the lobby, but then you guys can say whatever went on that day before you got to the show.
Oh, what did we do?
We did nothing that day.
I was going to say probably a lot of sleeping.
We got up and tried to get.
We were hanging around listening to you snoring a lot, Brent. I think. Remember. There's a lot of snoring coming from Brent Walter.
Hey, I do what I'm best at. Hey, I warned both of you, and I took the couch in that separate room for your own sake. Meanwhile, Andy and Mark had a quick snog, in the bedroom there together.
Nonsense.
My snoring was drowning out all the sound, I guess,
Uh-huh.
But from my point of view, it's just to be this 16-year-old that's loved Night Ranger all his life, worked hard to get any recording, any picture, anything at all for 37 years, and then to be in America. I've been to America once before in 2000 when I was passing through. I went to New York and I went to LA very briefly. To be in America and going to a Night Ranger concert was just amazing. And to be with you two guys, and then to meet Josh, and then everybody else, Rockin' Robin, Melissa, all of it. It was it was amazing, absolutely amazing. It really was. It was a trip of a lifetime. And then that gig in Cleveland, the Danny Repepe gig, that beautiful venue. We had such a laugh meeting everybody. And there were two things I wanted from my trip. I wanted a tour shirt, and I wanted a picture, because you guys put a picture of the three of you up with the band a few months before. I remember messaging you guys saying, I want that picture. I want to be in that picture.
Yeah.
And to get all that, it was just, And that gig, with the orchestra, I'm so looking forward to seeing this DVD, because that was a hell of a gig.
Where were you sitting, Mark?
We were about 4 rows back, weren't we?
Yeah, we were over by Kelly and Brad, and on the aisle.
Yeah.
And
you were behind me. Ryan was next to me.
Yeah. Directly behind Mark, and it was a real joy to watch Mark. Because we take for granted how often we get to see the band.
You guys are lucky in the States, because you get them whenever you want them. For me, this was truly a trip of a lifetime.
It was like
that close,
like watching a child opening Christmas gifts. I mean, he was really just enamored with everything. He kept rushing the stage, and at one time, Mr. Gillis handed him a guitar pick, and
then yelled, "Security! Security!"
No. I rushed the stage. He was doing. I think it was the solo to Goodbye or something. It was Goodbye. And I couldn't help myself. I rushed the stage. I'm right in front of him. He's peeling off this beautiful solo. And I'm shouting as loud as I can, Brad, I've come all the way from England to see you. You're amazing. And he finished the solo, and he said to me, how you doing, man? And he threw me his pick, and I caught it one-handed. One of the best moments of my
That's the one
life.
in your frame, right, Mark?
Yeah, that's the one. That's that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, just I think I enjoyed watching Mark as much as Mark enjoyed the show, and it was, and then
incredible.
The symphony. I mean, that youth orchestra was phenomenal.
Yeah, they were amazing.
I remember saying to Mark once, way back when they first announced it, I think we talked about it, and I said, Mark, if you're ever going to see one show, it has to be this. They'll never do it again. You'll never see it again. And boy, it just didn't disappoint, man. Ed put together a great show with these guys, these kids, and of course, sadly but nicely for a great cause for his brother. But it was fantastic, and just outside in the lobby, whoever idea it was to gather everybody on the steps was just a fantastic shot,
And we still didn't have everybody in that shot.
No. That is a condensed version.
Yeah, I kind of went up and down the aisles, and I know I probably missed some people, and I know I did.
That's a great picture.
Well, that's when we were all getting against the wall, and we weren't going to get everybody. I said, let's just go up on the steps, So Mark's like, I'm going to be with you. He runs to the top.
I was right at the top.
Yeah.
Right at the top.
I was standing next to Shape and Chapin. Tom and Andy.
Drink.
Tom and Andy.
God, there's going to be a lot of drinking in this episode, isn't there? For
those
drinking
two guys are crazy.
Yeah.
And of course they were very very much the forefront in keeping Dave Nadelman in our thoughts.
God, yeah.
The picture, the little Post-it notes, they are the papers they'd made for everybody. So
yeah, I was so happy that Tom took that upon himself to take care of that.
Again, it's what I love about what this page has become. It's a community of just it's a family. I say it when I welcome people. I say welcome to the family because you're never alone at a concert, and we know these people, and now we communicate with them. And like I said, we're talking to this crazy madman across the river, to the pond.
It would never have happened without you three guys deciding to do this crazy thing called Fans in Motion. Never.
And for everyone that was there, as great as that concert was, wherever I was last with them, I got to see, I don't know, a couple songs, Call My Name being one, of some of the early editing that they're doing for that DVD. And all I can say is it's phenomenal.
Is it good?
I think they said there's 21 cameras or 16 or 21 cameras. So you're getting all kinds of camera angles. It's crystal clear. And they've got cameras up in the orchestra, above the orchestra. And it just sounds phenomenal. I mean, I right away, I guess it's going to be better than that Chicago 2017 release or whatever year that was, 2016. And again, I'm just seeing like a rough edit, so I know the final product is going to be spectacular. So Andy has decided to leave us
bathroom break
moment. I see
he's coming
shadows.
Back. Oh, look out! What's he got now?
It's either a cramp or diabetes.
That's cramp.
He's coughing.
He's not as young as he looks,
Sorry, guys.
It's the age.
You all right, man? Live?
Yeah, I was having a coughing fit, and I didn't want to be on the camera doing
it. You need to change the filterless smokes.
I like that shirt you got on, Andy. Nice shirt.
It's our new ones.
It's all right.
Yeah. Look here. Woo.
It's the new ones. It's yeah, look at that. We're all representing. Brent, what do you got on the
Danny Repepi?
The Repepi shirt.
I got this sent to me from Kathy for Christmas.
One of my favorite shirts is that shirt.
And
the only thing
talking about community
is the music notes on the side.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I kind of don't like. And it says Cleveland, I guess, but but other than that, it's a comfortable shirt, and it looks good as well. Andy, is that shirt you got on, does it fit true to size? And
yeah, this is it, man. I like it. It's very comfortable. Josh, you nice.
All right.
Nice graphic there, courtesy of Mr. Brent Walter.
With your figure, you should always wear black. It looks good on you.
Black's very slimming.
Slimming, exactly.
So they say.
How do I look?
Brent, you look like the camera's only put on.
One of the things I remember about the Danny Repepi show, I think we all came out and said we couldn't really hear the orchestra. The DVD, that's going to bring it up again, isn't it? That's going to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we all said that, didn't we?
Yeah.
When I saw one of the songs I was able to see was Call My Name. And even at the show, you could hear the orchestra at the beginning. But then the kind of where I was sitting, the band overpowered it. But in the video clip, you could hear the orchestra all the way throughout. So, yeah, I mean, when you get that DVD, they recorded the orchestra separate, so they're going to be able to boost that mix of them up. So, after the Cleveland orchestra show, many of the Fans in Motion went back to the Winking
Lizard.
To partake in some more alcoholic beverages.
Because their livers hadn't suffered enough.
And
Mark fell in love with the Fat Tire.
Fat Tire. Was it 360 mils or something? I don't know. Those big glasses. They were good.
All I know is
meals.
if you remember the conversation, the waitress that sat me said she needed to sell 5 to win a contest.
Oh, I gave her the 5.
Yeah, Mark's like, I'll take 5. I was like, hold on, Mark. Yeah.
I don't think there was a contest.
They were for Orion. They weren't for me.
Yeah.
They were for him.
So everybody's back here, and after the show, I met up with Eric and Carrie and a couple other people, and we went to find someplace downtown to go drink. And we were having some beers, and it was a debate whether do I tell everybody at the Winking Lizard to come downtown,
right,
or and after a beer or two, Carrie and his entourage or whatever was going to head back, I think, to the hotel, but my buddy Eric Levy said, "Hey, let's go to the Winking Lizard." And I think I only told, I think I told you, Andy, just don't let anybody leave. Don't tell them why. But we got Eric to play Rockstar a little bit, and it was kind of cool. I walked in behind him, and it was just cool to see everybody's heads turn when Eric walked in, and everybody got a meeting.
It was such a rush to see you walk in with Eric Levy. It was like, oh my God. It was excellent.
Yeah, we didn't tell you, Mark. Andy told me, but I don't remember telling you.
No, I didn't know.
Josh had called me, said, listen, don't tell anybody what's happening. Just don't let anybody leave. And because Josh wanted to, I think, surprise everybody, which was really nice. And
he did that.
It was a wonderful surprise. I remember at one point, Mark looks at me, he goes, I don't think I can handle this. And I said, you got it, buddy. You got it.
Yeah.
But, because Andy told me, he's like, don't say anything. Don't let anybody leave. I'm like, okay. And I'm just keeping it cool,
And the coolest thing about it was the first time like I said to you earlier, the first time I got to see Night Ranger in London was 2011. And it was an amazing night. I was having the time of my life. I never thought I'd get to see them live. And then when they left the stage, I'm right at the front in front of Brad's mic stand. As they left the stage, Eric Levy gave me a fist bump as they left the stage. And that made my night. And then, years like 10, 12 years later, I get the chance to chat to the man in the Winking Lizard and tell him all about it, and that was just incredible. Eric, I mean, he must get this all the time. They all must.
Yeah.
This babbling Englishman telling them, telling him what a great guy he is, how he's loved the music all his life, and when you left the stage in London, you gave me a fist bump. He said, "Oh, that's." I remember him saying to me, "That's really great." He said, "I'd only just joined the band," and to be able to chat to Eric and tell him that story, Josh, was quite incredible. It was great. Really good.
Well, kudos to Eric for, agreeing to come down. I mean, part of originally me telling you not to let people leave or whatever is because I didn't know if I was going to get both or none. It was just basically like keep them in a holding pattern. And then, like I said, Eric, me and Eric, I think when we drove there, we're listening to jazz and he's schooling me, and I think on the way back we were listening to Pink Floyd, and I remember playing some tunes off of Division Bell, which he had never gotten heard that record. And we got he's definitely got a little bit of a buzz, and I got the Bose speakers cranked, and just we're just getting this David Gilmour rush. So all right,
quite bizarre in your massive white Jeep with motoring on the number plate, and you're in there listening to Pink Floyd with Eric. That's quite weird.
Well, a little surreal.
I think it's more surreal. Like on the way there, we were listening to like jazz. I had on whatever I got, Sirius. There was a jazz station, and I don't know who the fuck is always on these. I'll listen to it sometimes, but I have no idea. Whatever the name is, I have no idea who it is. And so I turned it to that jazz station. And it's two people's names, and Eric's just giving me the history of it.
Really?
Like, yeah,
like nerd.
Well, here's another Eric story. So Eric's my jazz guy. So jazz is one set of music I really just never got into. So I try to listen to it, and I had a John Coltrane record, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I just sent him a text, what's the significance of this record? And he's, sends back reply, oh yeah, this was groundbreaking and blah, blah, blah. And this was an album that like the public could handle before it got too complex. And all I'm thinking, like, this album's already complex.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, you want to know something about jazz? Eric is your guy. So the next day, or that night, Mark falls asleep with visions of Eric Levy in his head. And the next day, you guys are going to be heading to Nashville, Indiana to see Night Ranger at a theater show. How many hours was that drive?
This was after we had to kick in the hotel room door because we got locked out. Do you remember?
Yeah, the battery in the card slot died.
Yeah.
So we had to wait outside the hotel room, a half hour before they could come change the batteries.
Yeah. And the janitor didn't want me to kick the door in, did he? I did offer.
Yeah. And was it? God, it must have been about a 4-hour drive, maybe 5.
Because we were going to go to Chicago, weren't we? But it was too much.
Yeah.
Just logistically, it wasn't working out for us.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is when we were leaving. Go ahead.
No, go.
No, when we were leaving Cleveland and going down the road, Mark says, I can't believe how many pawn shops you Americans have. And we see this billboard to the left, and it says, get off.
Yeah,
huge.
Get off. Yeah.
Get off, exit 169.
Yeah.
And we must have after 5 miles about that damn thing going down the road.
There seem to be a lot of wankers on the road in America. What can I say? There's a lot of adult shops, a lot of them.
Yeah, he couldn't believe that.
I wanted to pull over, but
a lot of people driving on the right side of the road.
It's all wrong, but anyway, that's another story. But we got to Nashville, Indiana. What a beautiful little town that was. That was lovely.
Yeah. Well, we drove over to. We got a room in Bloomington, Indiana, so about 30 minutes west, I think, of Nashville. If I have my geography correctly. Stayed the night there, rested up. Didn't really do anything fun. The next day, we drive into Nashville, and I'd been to Nashville before. I knew what it was, like it's a little touristy town. Mark really seemed to really take to the town. Beautiful. It took forever for us just to get out of the parking lot because Mark is accosting people, telling them to take pictures of us.
Excuse me, I came all the way from England, and I was wondering if you could take a picture of me and my mates. This is anywhere we went. We were in the middle of a truck stop in somewhere in Indiana. And it's
right there.
There it is. And
that's a great picture.
This girl sitting there picking up her boyfriend that worked at the truck stop or something. And he's like, oh, she's kind of a looker, ain't she? Whatever.
You're making me sound like Dick Van Dyke out of Mary Poppins.
It was fantastic. I mean, Mark didn't meet a stranger.
No.
And as you were talking about Nashville, getting out of the parking lot, this woman's going back to her car, and her boyfriend's sitting in the car. And he's in a band called Ultrafab, by the way. And he's like, will you take a picture? And she's like, well, let me put this in my car and talk to. Long story short, we're posing with pictures with these two. And I go back to the car to change. I was going to put shorts on. Half hour later, I'm still talking to these people because Mark had stopped them. But we had a great conversation. And of course, the guy brings up a lit, which made me, fantastically happy. And then out of nowhere, Butch Walker comes up. So I'm screaming, Andy. He's probably a quarter mile away. He's like, well, where the fuck are you? I'm like, Come over here.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on Mark because Mark is doing wine tastings.
Yeah.
Yes. He said
He's
to me, "Do you want to taste it?" I went, "No, I want to drink it."
Yeah. Josh, did you ever walked around Nashville, Indiana? Just all a bunch of shops and stuff.
I don't think I've ever been to Nashville, Indiana.
Oh, it's beautiful, Josh. It's lovely.
Mark's bouncing in and out of these shops. Now, Mark's I'm probably not going to talk about it, but I will because he played it off like he was part of the band because people kept thinking we're wearing Night Ranger shirts.
I didn't play it like I was in the band.
And
people
And
thought,
sweet teas.
So,
Sweet
like,
teas.
are you in the band? And then, like, at one point, one kid was going to ask for his autograph, and I put a stop to that.
Yeah. I was going to sign it, wasn't I?
I know you were. I did let you get the free gift from the lady at the tea shop. I didn't stop that.
Well, that's the other thing. The whole time this bastard's in the car, you fuckers can't get a proper cup of tea here. You don't know how to make tea, and we everywhere we go, it's piss.
Sorry, boys. I'm sorry, boys. American tea is fucking dreadful. It is.
Yeah. We walk it. I'm sorry.
Well, so we go over to the venue. We check the venue out. We see the signage out front. I get a great picture of Mark, it with cows, I think, behind him or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And Josh, you've dealt with this a lot. It's you're probably used to it. I'm not used to it when my phone rings and it's Ed Repepe. So I'm like, hold on, Marks, just don't wander off. Because Mark's just off on his own. He doesn't care. And I get Ed on the phone, and Ed says to me, where are you? I said, we're in the town. And he said, all right, I'm going to get you guys hooked up with the meet and greet. And I said, well, I've already bought tickets for Mark and I. We're front row. We got the meet and greet tickets. He's like, well, you didn't need to do that. And he said, I would have got you to meet him. And I said, I know, but I wanted Mark to be front row. And that's the only way I can get those front row seats. So, yeah, there it is. But Ed, just an amazing with his time and his efforts there. He said,
Ed Repepe, tour manager for Night Ranger. If you do,
yeah, he says, just be at the back of the line when you go do the meet and greet. So we're doing that, and we're doing some positioning with Eric. Had somebody there that was also friends with Eric. Eric was working on some music with somebody, so we're all kind of pushing back, and they're like, "No, you go ahead of us." And I said, well, we were told to stay at the back. And like, well, so were we. Eric told us to stay back. I said, yeah, but the tour manager told us to stay to the back. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so, you're kind of close to Eric's neighborhood. So
yeah,
those Indiana, Illinois shows, you'll get some of Eric's pals there.
Yeah, Josh, these were the same people when you and I were down in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
But I had to go to the front door and let them in because they wouldn't let them in. That's the same people. Okay. Nice people.
Yeah, super nice people.
So I knew who they were. Once I'm like, you were in Kentucky. And they're like, yeah, so I let you in. So everything was cool after that for sure,
Yeah. So we go in, we do the meet and greet. Ed was gracious. The band was super sweet to us. They gave us a little extra time. Mark goes in and presents Jack with a nice gift all the way from England.
If you can't come to the UK, the UK will come to you.
And he hands him his Union Jack scarf. And the guys were just fantastic.
They were amazing. They were so nice to me. To me.
We just couldn't.
Mark, I mean,
yes, sir.
So you're in line, right, for this meet and greet.
Yeah.
And you know that they're up there
beyond that door.
What are you feeling?
Right, I'll tell you. When we rocked up at the venue, I went off. If you guys remember, I went off to smoke a cigarette, and I'm walking up and down, and I'm literally talking to myself. Be cool. Don't fuck this up. You've waited for this for years. Don't fuck this up. Do you remember? I walked off and had a cigarette.
And you were constantly saying, "Oh, Brent, I don't know if I'm going to be. I can't handle this, mate. I can't handle this."
Yeah, it was quite.
I can't believe this.
Yeah, I'm not usually nervous in those sorts of situations, but I was then because I've waited for this my entire life. Entire life. You guys, this is the thing that you three forget. You guys are used to it. You can go to concerts wherever you want. You might have a 5-6 hour car drive, but for me, and everybody else over in Europe, it's totally different. And when we were standing in the line, like you said, Ed said, wait at the back of the queue, you get a bit more time. I could keep seeing the doors open like this. And then I could see the band that I've loved my entire life behind those doors. And we kept getting closer and closer and closer. And I'll be honest with you, I was shitting myself. I was really nervous because this was a big deal to me.
Yeah,
you guys are used to it. But you try being a European fan that's loved the band all their lives and never thought they'd be in that position. And when the doors opened and there's me and Parker and Walter and I'm there, and Ed's taking my phone, he's taking photos. Yeah, it blew my mind. Jack was lovely. He took my scarf. He thought it was great. He said, I can't give you mine. He's going to swap scarves. He said, I can't give you mine because my wife gave me this scarf. I'm like, no, it's fine. You keep my scarf. I managed to say hi to Brad, told him how much I loved Gill Rock Ranch. I managed to fist bump Eric again. I told Kerry Kelly I loved his swagger. He was amazing. Yeah, it was incredible. To get that 5-10 minutes with them was just insane. Absolutely insane, wasn't it?
Now, who's the one to put their hands around your neck in the photo session?
Jack.
Yeah, that would be Jack Blade.
Yeah, I'm sitting there watching. I couldn't remember who did it, but as soon as the hands went around Mark's neck, he went, yes!
Yeah. I've got that picture. I've got that picture hanging on my wall just over there.
Yeah.
And it looked like you got, some one-on-one time with Jack and Kelly.
Yeah, so
we went backstage afterwards, didn't we?
So after
we went on stage.
After the meet and greet, Josh, they filter you out. And we're out sitting in the lobby, and Mark is just talking to everybody, and we're just having a good old time. And again, my phone rings, and it's Ed Repepe, which again is something I'm just not used to. And he goes, "Hey man, where are you?" I said, "I'm out in the lobby." He said, "Bring Mark and Brent to the front of the stage." And I was like, "All right." I said, "Guys, we got to go." And I didn't know what was going on. We get to the front of the stage. Ed's there, and he says, "Come on." And we go up to the steps. We go up on the stage, and Ed's kind of giving us he's showing us the kit, drum kit, Kelly's kit.
He's showing us the guitars. I'm on stage at a night ranger gig before, and they show me the guitars. It was like, wow.
Take it, Mark. Tell your version of it.
Well, we were on, and there's the rack of the guitars, and I'm like, oh my god, there's Bubba, there's all of it, and then there was a little corridor, a little anteroom, and I followed you guys in, and then suddenly I'm backstage, and there's Jack Blades and there's Kelly Keagy. It's like, oh my fucking god! It was incredible.
But we got our picture taken on the stage too. Remember?
We did, yeah. We did.
Yeah. So Ed walks us over, and there's Kelly.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey," and Mark's talking to Kelly, and I'm trying to take pictures and document it as best I can. Then Kelly goes, "Oh, hey, let's go in here."
Yeah.
And again, we're not really sure what's going on. We walk in, and there's Jack.
There's Jack Blade.
And Mark is, and I'm stunned. I'm like, holy shit. And Jack and Kelly couldn't have been any more gracious.
They're amazing. Yeah.
Hugging him, taking pictures. He asks, he hands you the bandana.
Yeah.
He said, "You gave me your flag, I'll give you mine," or something like that.
That's it.
And then what did he offer? Also offered you up a.
And he said to me, "Have you got one of these?" And I said, "Of course, Jack. I bought it when it came out in 1990." And he said, "But do you have an autographed one?" I went, "No, Jack, I don't." So I've got that.
Jack had a damn Yankees cassette in his tour box.
Yeah.
Look at that. It says, "Hey Mark, Jack Blade" on the front. I mean, how cool is that? There's the one I bought in 1990, and there's the one I got last November. How cool is that?
Kelly walks over and hands him a pair of sticks.
Oh, do you mean these, Andy? Do you mean these?
Look at this.
And then Jack turns around and says, "Let me see what else I have." And Andy and I are just sitting back, just letting Mark take it all in,
Yeah, it was and Ed was there. And
to be backstage at a Night Ranger concert in America, talking to two of my heroes, all because of Fans in Motion, Weaver, Parker, and Walter.
Yeah.
It's all down to you guys.
Well, I think
to two of your heroes, Jack and Kelly.
All down to you guys and Ed Repepe. Amazing.
I think, Josh, I messaged you or called you after the show, and I said, I don't know how much involvement you had, but thank you if you had any involvement in helping facilitate this. And I thanked Ed profusely because I know that's not the norm for them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, during the concert, there's this little, I don't know, a little shout out to Jack's good friend from England.
And they played
have you any
Reason
idea
to Be
how
that
many
night.
times I've watched that? I've watched that so many times. We've got a friend here from London, England. Oh, that was insane. And then when they were playing Sing Me Away, that he saw me in the middle of the song. He saw me, he went, "Hey, Mark," like this in the middle of the song. It's just incredible. All down to you three and Ed Repetti. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean.
And the thing is, I think, it doesn't matter whether it's me coming from Europe or anything, I think, I think Ed and the guys, they're like that. They're such nice people. I think they do that for everyone. I do. Lovely people.
I see them go out of their way at every show for,
someone.
There'll be a kid or someone with disabilities or something like that, and I mean they are always gracious.
There was that kid in Cleveland that was in the wheelchair, and they were all just feeding him guitar picks during the show.
And I know Brad always makes, always makes it a point to get, if there's any kids in the show that are up there, to get them guitar picks, and so they're always gracious, and really big kudos to Ed. My only job was planting, I guess, the seed, saying, hey, Mark's going to be here from England. He's a good guy. And once I got, that with Ed, myself and Ed got that with Jack and Kelly. And once I think they, kind of, I mean, there's a level of trust. I mean, me, Andy, and Brent have been around them numerous times. And, usually if you just, tell Ed, hey, this is one of the good guys, he'll go out of his way for it.
They definitely went out of their way for me.
And especially being from England, flying all that way, them, they're going to definitely do what they can, and probably just in the hopes that you are happy and you don't get angry and start colonizing shit over here.
I had the best time.
So after the show, and you guys didn't stay the night there, right?
No.
No, Mark had to catch a flight the next day.
All right.
Yeah.
So Mark, on the way back, how surreal is it when you're just, sitting there in a dark car, driving on the right side of the road, and
the wrong side of the road.
Well, here's the thing I do like about England is if you
HP sauce.
Yeah. Well, no. The only reason why I like it is because I was at the English Chow Hall and their food sucked, and it's like I need something to put on the shit to make it edible. And what is it? HP sauce. I got some in the fridge.
I've got some in the fridge.
Yeah, it's just a brown sauce. It's
like A1.
Anyways, in Afghanistan, each chow hall was ran by a different country. So you'd go, that's how big that base was. You would have one, like there was one near me. It was, I don't know what the fuck, but it had a lot of curry, So, I tried to avoid that because you smell like curry for fucking 3 days. But one that was kind of close, I didn't go to a lot, was the English one. And God, that food sucked. So you just had to find a bottle of that sauce. And I always liked like the desserts, like most time you go somewhere, desserts look great. Like, I'm like looking at this shit, and it's like, it's kind of like a Vegas vacation. You're like, I'll take some of the blue, a little bit of the green. I'm like, and then you're looking and like, what kind of dessert has peas in it? It's like
mushy peas.
But the good thing about being in England is, being an American, is when you get sauced up and you're driving and you're on the wrong side of the road. Over there, you're on the right side of the road. You just blend right the fuck in.
Yeah.
So see, you could have.
You should have drove over here, Mark.
You could have gotten hammered over here, Mark, and drove because you would have been so fucked up on the wrong side of the road, but you would have been on the right side of the road here.
Andy did offer me a drive in his ridiculously large truck, but I was too scared. I couldn't do it. I knew I'd muck it up. But to answer your question, after the gig, we got in the car and off we went. I was in a state of shock. That's the only way I can put it. It was a state of shock. I'd met my heroes. I'd seen the most incredible gig. I'm in this Chevrolet heading off in the dark with my two new friends, and I was just one of the best nights of my life, without doubt. Yeah, without doubt. I'm saying one of the. There was a girl in London once a few years ago. That might have been one of the best nights in my life. But Night Ranger's way up there as well. It was incredible. My ears were ringing. Brent had managed to pull me off a poster from the wall. Remember that poster, Brent, when you pulled it off?
I remember that poster.
That's up on my wall right over there.
So I had to go to the bathroom so bad, and we got in a little bit early.
Why is that? Why did you have to go to the bathroom so bad, Brent? Is that because you're drinking too much Bud Light? Is that what it was?
No, that wasn't. That wasn't at that point. No, but I just had to go to the. It was getting colder progressively through the day, and I just remember we were sitting in that parking lot for a while and had to go to the bathroom. We pulled some strings, got in. And I saw that poster, and I looked at Mark. I'm like, I'm getting that poster.
Yeah, you're a legend.
And so I didn't want to hold it all night, so I took it back out to the car. I was able to go back out to the car, but I digress. I wanted to say, I wish we could have recorded the conversations we were having in that car for the entire trip. I have not laughed so hard in so many years as much as I had on this excursion. I even looked at him, and Andy had made that book. I'm like, I told the guys, I never knew how bad I needed this trip.
Yeah.
And that's what it's been known as. We didn't know what we needed, the road trip we didn't know we needed. And there was moments where Andy and I were teaching Mark Kiss lyrics about anal sex, and he had never, Liam Neeson jokes.
Oh my God, Liam Neeson jokes! Oh no, you can't talk about that on here. You can't talk about that.
Stories about past girls in our lives, malted milk balls. I mean, God, it was just
sounds.
Mark had us. Oh no, you have no idea, Mark, Josh. You would have had a blast.
At 2 a.m, it was very riveting. But yes, you're right. I forgot to mention also, not to step on you there, Brent, but I wanted to make sure I got this in. Is at the end of the show in Nashville, Indiana, everybody's always reaching up and trying to get the set lists, and this girl was just carrying on wanting the set list from Carrie, right there, and the text just kind of ignore you, like they just, and I yell up and I was like, hey, I said, my buddy, he's the guy here from England, could I get a set list? And he's like, oh sure, and he rips it up and hands it to me. This lady loses her shit.
She wasn't pleased.
She's screaming, and Mark's like, I came from England.
It's mine.
So I kudos to whoever that guy was who took care of us for that little incident. And but we had a nice drive home. Mark got to see much of.
You were a legend that night, Andy.
Much of the
long drive.
The American countryside.
Oh yeah.
And our American love of pickup trucks.
Yeah.
So Mark,
and the way yes, sir.
So you flew home the next day.
Yeah, the next day.
You've shown us throughout the episode some of the contraband you brought back, but show us, go through it again. Let's see it all again at once.
All right, hang on. So I got the VIP meet and greet.
Yeah.
I got this, which Mr. Ed Repepi gave me, which I'm quite pleased with.
Look at that.
Ooh, look at that. I think we talked about that because I think it was said that there's no way that you could use that because they're never in England.
Yeah.
He's like, so why not?
Yeah. So
I brought over with me an old 7 Wishes access awareness thing. And I asked Ed if it was still valid, and he said no. So he gave me the ATVPO one.
Hey, turn that 7 Wishes one around.
I don't think it's blank on the back. I bought it off eBay.
I think
it's just a reproduction.
Those are fake.
Yeah.
So if you're out there watching, do not buy that.
No.
They don't unless you want it for display or something. I just don't want people buy. Whoever's been selling those has been selling those for years.
There was one that turned.
Go on.
There was one that turned up the other day I saw, and it was actually a cloth pass and had the auto. That was the company, and they had one here in Cincinnati.
If the ones out there, if they're laminated from 7 Wishes down, if they're laminated, they are going to have a name on it and possibly a photo.
Just blank.
Yeah, so you won't see stuff like that.
I'm just talking about the cloth pass I saw looked just like that. It wasn't laminated.
That might be fake too. The 7 Wishes, they had different colors, but it was just the 7 Wishes logo, and the same with Big Life. They had a Big Life cloth patch, but the laminates that they had were, if you see it, it's going to have a picture of Jack, and it's going to say Jack underneath it, and it's going to be laminated like that. So what else we got, Mark?
Hang on.
Hey, Mark, that globe back there, is that you lift that up and you got whiskey in it?
Yeah, that's my drinks cabinet.
I got the same damn thing.
There it is.
You got the same thing.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. I've had that for a while.
Yeah, it might be the exact same one. It's like the same color and everything. All right, what else we got?
Yours has probably got more booze in it. You're a bit more of a boozer than me.
More Pabst.
That's for sure. More, PBR. What's that stuff you drink? PBR.
That's the good stuff. What we got there? Oh, there's the.
What about that bad boy?
There's the poster from the shitter.
Look at that.
Outside the shitter. It was outside.
This takes pride of place in my lounge, Brentwater. I love this. This is epic.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. I had no intentions of keeping that.
Now, what I don't know if everybody knows, but Mark brought me a gift over from England.
He brought all of us one.
Yeah, he brought me the.
I think
he gave me his prized possession there of the 7 Wishes.
That took me years to get hold of that.
And
I was humbled beyond words for this, and I don't know how to thank Mark for that.
Mark got me the sealed Japanese 7-inch.
I did it for love.
Yep, I did it for love
because he hates the song, so he can have it.
I hate the
song.
Give it a Weaver, and then look at this.
Oh, yeah. Some broad in Indiana is still pissed at you.
She was not happy.
She was not happy about that.
Reason to be.
Yeah.
Did they play "Bring It All Home" to me? That show?
No.
Right.
Oh yeah, did they? Yeah, I believe they did.
Yeah, no, this is the November 11th one.
Yeah, they played all that. I'm sorry.
I know there's been a couple shows.
I don't recall them playing it, but they could have, Josh. I don't.
Well, I don't know what show.
You know how I am.
Troy, Ohio. They had that on the set list at the very end, took it off.
Yeah.
And didn't play it. So that's why I was wondering if that actually took place there.
Excuse me.
And I saw Lisa Johnson-Haynes put on the page today her pick collection. So I put mine up as well.
Look at that.
A couple of the ones that you gave me, Josh.
There you go. Brad Gillis, Carrie Kelly.
Brad gave me one, yeah. This one, Brad gave me, threw me from the stage.
You got to keep that one separate. You got a 40th anniversary one there too. Nice.
Yeah.
And you got the good Carrie picks.
Yeah. So that's the Brad Gillis one that you gave me, Josh. There's the Kerry Kelly one, the Eric Levy one, and I've got a Jack Blake bass pick, some pick, but that's in my desk over there somewhere. So that was my swag. What else? That was it, I think. But that was more than enough. I've got one other thing over here in England. Carrie Ann Sutton. Look at this. Baby. Yeah. Look at that, baby. That's something else, isn't it? That's
Bubba replica.
Yeah.
And that's from Carrie Ann. What's her name? Something.
All hand painted by her.
It's beautiful.
Do you
talented?
So does England still have the big air guitar battles like they did in the early '80s?
Oh yeah, man! I'm the best air guitarist you've ever seen. You wait till that DVD comes out. If I'm not on that air guitaring from the fourth row, I'm going to be really upset.
You know what I regret not doing with you?
Don't tell him, Brent. I turned you down in that hotel
room. What I regret was not getting some White Castles down your throat and some Skyline chili.
Oh no!
I kept telling Andy, let's get Skyline on or White Castle on the way home from Indiana. And he's like, no, I gotta drive back to Nashville with him.
The two of you just wanted to watch this English guy shit himself all week. That's all you wanted to do.
God,
horrible people.
I figured I did enough damage by introducing Twinkies into Mark's diet.
So and then they had a little Debbie's brownie on the way back. I had in my pop holder.
Yeah,
and God, I had a whole box of this. I should have given them to you when you all left that night.
One last thing. Hang on, talk amongst yourselves.
What a wanker.
Yeah, we got home in time to get some sleep. We rolled into my house, Josh, at like 5:30 in the morning, I think.
And then I had a 7 o'clock flight that night.
Yeah, his flight was coming, and we had to get him to the airport, which was.
Oh my God, that's what you got. I heard about it.
I sent him some Twinkies and some ding dongs for his mouth.
Some Twinkies. I've got 32 of the fuckers in here. Look at them.
That's awesome.
Mark, do they have a candy bar there called like a milk bar, Milky Bar?
Milky Way?
Sky Bar?
Not Milky Way, not Sky Bar. It is like white chocolate.
Yeah, Milky Bar. The Milky Bar kid is strong enough. One bar is good enough. Yeah, there's a song about it.
Dude, those are fucking awesome.
You want some?
No, I'm good, but
I'll send you some.
Chocolate in Europe is so much better than chocolate in the United States.
I don't want to upset you boys, but American chocolate ain't that great.
I don't agree. I love Hershey, but I love the curly whirly that you guys have.
But that
curly whirlies are good.
Yeah.
That Milky Bar is
but Teresa, her mom is from my mother-in-law's from England, and they're all Cadbury fans.
Cadbury.
They think Hershey is crap.
Hey, remember what I taught you, Mark? When you said Hershey was shit, and I said coincidentally, Cadbury in America is made by Hershey here. You know, it's your recipe.
Uses their recipe.
It's our recipe better. Parker, these things are amazing.
Well, over in England, you can get Cadbury, like what is it here, Nutella?
Yeah,
over
Nutella,
there you can get the same thing, over there, but it's Cadbury. Mark, how was it to be in the States and be able to go to bars that weren't named the Queen's Arm or the King's Leg or the Peasant? The Pheasant and the Hound, or
the Fox and the Hound of Pawn Avon.
Americans, you've got no history at all.
We level it and put a Walmart up.
You'd love to come over here and go to a decent pub with a fireplace and decent beer. Come on,
a lager.
Go ahead.
The beer's colder over here, though, correct?
Yeah, your beer's cold and slightly weak.
Yeah.
Well, to what we got over here,
Mark. Mark had to buy. So those of you that don't know, I don't drink, so I don't have any alcohol in my house. So Mark, we bought him a 6-pack of Budweiser.
Oh yeah.
He drank one.
Didn't we have a bottle of Prosecco and a bottle of red wine?
He drank the wine instead. Then Mark likes to roll his own cigarettes.
I do.
He brought some tobacco with him, but then he had to stop and buy some. And you're not going to believe this. I hadn't cleaned my car out since your trip.
That stuff was horrible.
And I found it was like this American Indian brand tobacco.
That's it.
Loose tobacco.
That's it.
So we just stopped at a gas station. I didn't know what to tell him to buy. So he's like, well, just give me that stuff. And he takes one hit. He goes, oh, that's rubbish. He's like, I'll just buy a pack of cigarettes.
I have Mark, from them.
I don't know if you and this speaks volumes about me and my laziness. But Mark, do you remember when we when we left the hotel, you grabbed like a couple of bananas.
Yeah.
They were still in
I'm
my
gonna fall for no
car.
banana in my tailpipe.
They were
Holy
still in
crap.
my car up until 2 weeks ago.
Did I leave them in the car?
They had started to liquefy.
Ah!
I did not know they were back
You
there.
couldn't smell it?
No. I was like, what's this bag? And I picked it up like, oh.
Man, you need to clean out that Chevy a little more often, man.
I'm never in the
Hey,
back seat.
Brent, do you remember when we walked into that service station? I asked that woman for a
Yeah.
packet of fags.
That's why I started laughing when he said Mark rolls his own cigarettes.
Yeah.
We're in Nashville, Indiana. And he's like, I got to get some smokes. So, he walks in and goes, I'll take a pack of fags. And this girl's face behind the counter she went from this to.
I wanted to tackle Mark. I was like, no, don't say that.
And he goes, I need cigarettes. And I turn around and this 70-something-year-old lady is just laughing her ass off because she knew what he meant. Yeah. But the girl behind the counter was so offended. It was I was it was
Mark,
hysterical.
Have you ever been to Bury St. Edmunds?
I passed through Bury St. Edmunds. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
All right. Well,
long time ago. Was that where you were stationed?
I've been to Mildenhall and
yeah.
Lakenheath. I think.
Be right back.
Yeah.
So I've been to a couple of them, but Bury St. Edmunds has the world's smallest bar, the Nutshell.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What? So give us the story, Josh.
Have
you been?
Know. Yeah.
He's been banned. They banned him.
I mean, it's a small. I mean, I don't know. Imagine like a typical bathroom, that maybe has like a sink, toilet, shower. Take all that out and put a cash register in there, and that's your bar. There's no seats or anything. There is like a little like ledge along like the wall and stuff where you can actually get up and stand to make more room. The cash register is kind of built into the wall, and the bar is just real small and circular. And there's this old English little tiny staircase that goes up to the upstairs to the bathroom, but you're just packed in there.
So what's it hold? Like
cool.
10
That's called old and quaint and historic. Unfortunately, you boys have only got 200 years of history. We've got a little bit more than that.
Yeah. We don't have the history you have.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when I was in Spain, you go to like any little city and there's an 800-year-old cathedral there.
It's one of the things I love about, and I've only been to I've been to London and I've been to Ireland. I've been to Spain too, but I want to see so much of Europe because you guys have such a rich,
we got a lot of history.
A rich history in these buildings that have just stood for centuries.
Yeah.
Centuries.
But what we don't have are the best hard rocking 80s bands coming over here. We just don't get it. That's why I had to come to you.
Yeah. So, Mark, are you planning on another trip?
Yeah, I'm coming. I'll come again. Let's do it again. The girls, Sylvia and Amy, keep telling me I've got to come over to Baltimore. Is it April? Yeah. I don't know if I can
probably get a
that.
cheap flight. That's a big international airport. So a lot of
stuff. But I want to do another road trip with these two boys. And Josh, you should come and sit in the back seat with me as well.
Yeah, listen.
Josh will take your car and I'll drive.
Yeah. Let's take that massive white monster thing you've got with motoring on the number plate.
America!
Name that one the Beast, and the little silver car is the Bullet.
Excellent.
No, I like to keep my hijinks
private,
in the dark.
Private. All right.
But definitely get yourself back over
I want to come
here.
back. I want to come back because the whole thing that we've been chatting about tonight was just for someone who's loved Night Ranger his entire life to come over and do what I did and meet all the great people that I met, to meet the band and see two concerts and travel across America was just insane. I'd love to do it again.
You know what? Down the road, there's going to be some English dude who's going to come across this podcast and he's going to think, you know what? A few years ago, I remember that Fans in Motion coming across my news feed and I didn't join it. Fuck, that could have been me.
Yeah, that could have been him.
He'll start ringing me up. I'm like, hey, no, I don't.
All of us
open
are
invitation.
like, fuck, it could have been.
One English guy's enough. Anyway, I feel like I've monopolized your podcast. Is there any Night Ranger news? What's news?
Nah,
any news?
That's next.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that the next week. So you definitely need to make the Baltimore show. That would probably be a good one.
Yeah, no, Sarah and Sarah Sylvia keep telling me to come over for that. So yeah. I'll try and get over.
Come over to finally playing the Ryman here in Nashville.
When are they doing the Ryman?
Yeah, they're playing the Mother Church.
Next month.
Next month.
Yeah, just jump over real quick, Mark.
Oh, I'd love to.
I know where you'll be this time at the airport.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
that was a hell of a. Yeah, I was getting quite worried.
How cool would it be if Night Ranger decided to play England? And Fans in Motion packed their bags.
I would in a heartbeat.
I'd love that.
Head out to Stonehenge.
Whenever I was in England, I was always coming back from Turkey, and people in Turkey somewhat speak English, and I just remember being in one of these English bars, and I don't know, I'm talking to one of the locals and asked him something, and he replies back to me. And all I could think was I could understand the Turkish people who couldn't really speak English better than, I'm like, hey, where's this bar at or whatever? Oh yeah, blood. I'm like, and I'm just like, it's kind of like Billy Madison, slow down.
Slow.
So I just and your guys is when your draft beer is not carbonated. You guys do the
nice. We like it warm. We like it still. It's better than that fizzy stuff. What did I drink over yours? The Budweiser. I had a bit of Miller.
Yeah.
I like a darker beer. Orion liked a darker beer as well. We put some away between.
And
that boy can drink.
And from what I heard, you're a Liverpool fan, right?
Liverpool? No, I'm not into football really. Not into football.
I talk about soccer.
You mean soccer?
Oh, soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah. Sport for people that can't catch.
Soccer?
Soccer? What's that, mate?
Oh, well, that sucks because usually, everybody over there is into that, and you just name the wrong, club,
and they lose their shit.
Yeah. So I thought,
no, I've never been into. I'm not a sporty guy. I like hard rock, red wine, fast cars, and fast women.
Loose women.
Loose women. That's the one.
How did you manage a few months ago when you guys lost the Queen?
Well, that was the week before you came over here, wasn't it? Because I was going to.
When was it? I can't remember. I've never been a real royalist, but I respect what they do for the country. And it was massively sad because we've all grown up with her. I mean, I remember, she's been around my entire life. So that when she passed, that was it's quite sad. But, yeah.
I mean, she had was like a nurse or in World War II. And
that's right. She was in the air raid wardens, I think, or something like that. Yeah,
I mean, I got most of my English history through the documentary called King Ralph.
King Ralph.
Nice pull, Josh. Timely.
So you ever seen the movie?
Yeah, I know of it. Yeah,
it's a good one. It's a
King
good one.
Ralph. Wow.
So Americans, honestly, you need a bit of culture.
I
told you, Andy and I learned all of our British stuff from our English stuff from the young ones, and recently the in-betweeners.
In-betweeners,
and
all those is rip-offs of Are You Being Served?
Nah. Hey, Mark.
Yes, sir.
I never got a chance to thank you for what you brought to me.
What did I do for you?
You brought me a Damn Yankees EP. You brought me a Color of Your Smile, that's 45 right. And what have you. And man, you brought a lot of joy to this heart.
Oh, listen to that.
And I can't thank you enough. I can't. You and Andy, you really gave me more than you could ever ever imagine.
Well,
like I said, I hadn't laughed that hard in years, and I laugh a lot. I hadn't been drunk in 12 years, thanks to you and Josh.
You're not a good drinker, let's be honest.
I'm a cheap drinker. I can tell you that right now. You're 3 beers and I'm sauced.
Yeah, I noticed.
Old Mark bringing Brent joy and the American ladies syphilis.
Somebody's got to do it, Josh.
So,
Josh,
all right,
you're a funny guy.
Let's wrap this up a little bit. So, Mark, you need to let us know when you're coming back to the States.
I will.
We will take you on another round of Night Ranger adventures.
That'd be amazing. I'd love that.
Yeah, so Andy, take us out.
Well,
thanks,
Josh, we've done this a handful of times, haven't we? We started this thing a couple years ago, and here we are, 100 episodes in. I never thought we'd make it this far. We're talking to our good friend Mark over in Hungersford, England. If you're still watching, thank you so much. And if you're part of this page and part of this group, we can't thank you enough. We really can. It's amazing. Josh, where are we at? 7,500? Are we at 7,600 yet? 7,600 people sharing the same love of a great rock band out of Northern California. We all love them, Night Ranger. If everybody tell one person to check us out, join the page, check out the podcast. If you want to just listen to the audio, you can catch us on, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify.
Fansinmotion.com.
Go to the website and see what Josh is doing over there. And if you want to watch us, see these beautiful faces, check us out on YouTube and leave a comment for us and leave a like. And we ask you all, please tell one person, get one more people. Me talk pretty one day.
And one last thing, on behalf of all of the people that are watching this podcast and are involved in the page, thank you to you three, because without you guys, none of it would have happened. And it's a great page. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. But you got, you, like I told you, you and everybody make it what it is. It's your page.
It's pretty much all me. So
thanks, boys. I'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, click subscribe. All right. And go to our Instagram page and click like or follow. Where the fuck goes on there?
Yeah.
What is it? Follow? Like? What is it on Instagram?
I don't know. I'm not cool. I'm not like the kids.
But go there and leave us a comment. And tell Mark, say hi to Mark and tell him where you're from and where you're watching. It's cool to see all these places all over the world. Mark being in England right now. So hey, Mark, in the States, it's 7:43. What time is it there?
It is 1:45 in the morning.
12:43. Yeah. All right.
And if you know any good Liam Neeson jokes, send them Mark's way. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Don't start, man. Don't start.
All right, Mark, go crack open a beer, probably called something like the Red Hen or something. Yeah. And we will talk to you the next trip that you come over, buddy.
See you soon, Josh. Take care, man.